Njani? Oh, Riperile. You know what that is? Riperile is sunset. Stronger. Madegwana. And you respond by saying Madegwana Avuti. What do you say about Kosa?
That's chili.
When the sun sets.
Iyatshona ilanga. Iyatshona ilanga.
And if in our salutations, we've got the morning salutations,
Like, okay.
the day ones,
Okay, good day.
and day one.
Up,
Now, good morning, good day, good evening. Okay?
Iyatshona ilanga.
All right. So, we're back. We are back. Conversations with Gogo Nomkulu. We are closing the Autism Month. Gogo, are you revering anybody today?
It's the month of May.
Who are your comrades this month?
Gosh, I have a list. The biggest will be Malcolm X.
Oh, X is May.
Yes, on the 19th of May.
Okay.
Yeah.
All
But
right.
there's others
Are you
as well.
flying out to New York and stuff?
No, I've been to his grave already and his museum in New York, so I'm kind of sorted for now.
Okay, no
For now.
PACs, no portal this time.
I found a gentleman on TikTok. He is doing a clip on the many other activists that are not on the spotlight. So since it's the Africa Month, and I will be making sure that on my status I am posting his videos.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very educational.
So,
So we don't forget that others contributed.
Many.
From all races. From all races.
Many that we've never even heard of.
Yeah. So it's nice to remember that our democracy didn't come through just the KC and ANC. There were other activists of all colors who contributed to where we are. I mean,
Okay.
against the democracy, but they contributed.
Now, talk about the Gogo. So, closing the Autism Awareness Month, I revisited the conversation I had no Gogo on the autism, the introduction we had a few weeks ago. And I felt, well, in the conversation, it sounded like Gogo was talking about one of my children. So I thought, you know, I wanted to revisit the conversation, but I just want to zoom into the child, the baby. A baby is born and then they start to hobble around and crawl. And you know, as a parent in a house, I want us to go deeper on things that I'm looking out for. If my child or any of my children, now I've got a nest, a big one. If any of my children could be living with autism. So I've got a question or two here for you, and thank you again for letting us a few minutes.
I'm always here to educate on my own experience,
Yes.
what I've been reading about, how I ended up being the milestone makazi for the Mao because of my own missed earlier traits of autism at home.
Okay, so go. A child is born.
Yes.
We start talking milestones.
Yes.
They're gonna crawl in this month. They're gonna start eating solids this month. They're gonna start walking. You know what they do.
5 days,
Yeah.
like that.
What have been your observations in terms of milestones with a child that is born with autism?
I would say,
Things to look out for as a
Yes.
parent.
as parents, milestones are very critical. I didn't crawl, I went straight to walking
Didn't call it all.
at all. From 7 months, I started walking.
Oh.
Yes. I was a tiny baby. I was able to get up and go. I'm not sure crawling, how missing crawling get affected
How
me
is it,
and my fine motor skills. The one thing I'll say, if a child is not crawling on time, something is the matter. I recently learned of a term called hypotonia,
Hypotonia. What
where
is
a
it?
child has very muscle tone. Muscle tone is a problem, and it's a lifelong problem. Like in my
people
case,
walking and
in my case, I can
dancing
say I don't have a firm grip.
on things.
Yes.
You break things.
I break things not intentionally.
Yeah, they just fall out.
Even at my age, I still.
To this day?
Yes. I still break things like glass. I can't use glass because it's slippery. And I need to wire myself that I must hold it like this. Even if with all the carefulness, I will still break it.
Is this hypotonia is a challenge with the person's...
With calling, any days of a child not being able to call, that becomes a concern. That something is the matter.
When they take longer.
When they
to
take
get
longer,
there.
yes. By the time it's the speech,
Ah.
it becomes an accumulation of a missed milestone, there's a second concern, then it starts growing.
When do you expect babies to start making up words?
They start saying mama, baba, bada,
How many
around
months?
the 6 to 8 months,
Okay.
depending on the
So
child.
by 9 months
They should be
Mama
able
and
to-
Papa must come out.
must come out.
Yeah.
So when a child misses those milestones, and there's also crawling issues, or a child walk first without crawling, those becomes an indicator that there might be concern. By the time the child gets to an age where they must be knowing and left in the right shoe, it's already been happening. I struggled with knowing my left and right shoes.
Oh, like okay, banana.
Yes. For the longest time in primary school.
Primary.
Yes. Everything that is not
I think
is
I've
not
got one.
identified,
Yeah.
not identified early, it becomes an accumulation of this was not addressed, there's going to be another indicator. By the time a child is struggling with eating solids, already there are other problems that the child is already indicating that they are concerned.
My grandmother once said, do you know how we measure when the child is ready for the solids?
Oh.
When their hairline is fully developed? Because apparently, in Mandela, they used to use a hairline to see that the stomach, the little grinding thing in the stomach, is fully developed when the child's hairline is full.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
Yeah.
that.
So by the time your child's hairline is there, all complete, it means that the stomach can also chew, crunch and digest the
That's
food.
an important thing to account for them. So it becomes another thing there.
No, grandmothers are another university we've taken for granted.
Back in the days,
Yeah.
grandmas stayed at home to take care of the kids.
Yeah.
So they knew those
Yeah.
unexplained
Yeah.
phenomena of
Okay.
hairline and stomach being ready for solids.
So to wrap up the milestones discussion, Goko, you're saying that if we suspect that the baby is lagging a little behind in terms of starting to crawl, starting to talk,
The food,
the food and so forth, we must start suspecting autism and
if in the family
Mm.
there's a speller who is already diagnosed with autism,
history.
yes, autism is genetic.
Also, you can take that from upstream.
Yes, it's not a once-off. It is
Comes from somewhere.
comes from somewhere. So it becomes the child is calling late, the child is not able to speak, the child is struggling with food, the child cannot coordinate the left and the right. Then it's going to become at school. For the longest time, I could not button like my buttoning as well.
Okay,
I
now
would miss up my
hold
buttons.
it there, hold it there. So the milestones you have closed. Now the child is a little
7 or
thick,
8,
right?
yeah, 7 or 8, 6.
They're
yes.
starting to try to put their own shoes on,
And they're
clothing
struggling,
on.
Yes.
You're saying that you battle the big with buttons.
Yes.
So your buttons will be Magoparosh and everywhere
Yeah.
else.
I think my third sister, you know how with African families, the older child cares for the other?
Yeah.
She was devoted to me.
Making sure Stella goes out looking.
And I'm clumsy. She always creates extra clothing for me so that if in case I mess myself, I can get it.
Oh, the additional clothing.
Yes.
She was like a mom in standby.
Yes.
Wow.
She always carried a set of clothing because I mess myself.
So there's some clumsiness that comes into
Comes with it as well.
the picture.
Because of the lack of coordination, it's a given that I will spill.
And then so okay, one, the shoes,
Yes.
there could be bananas all the time
All the
or
time.
often.
Like you keep
buttons,
the buttons, yes.
and then stealing on
Clumsiness,
oneself,
yes, yeah.
clumsiness.
Yes.
The speech,
Speech as well. If a child can't pronounce the words by the time, milestones are important for that. One child can be speaking as meant to be speaking. The other one is struggling with pronouncing words. They have a list already. Everything like
so this
autism,
is like
like me. And I stutter, and I don't speak all my words fully.
okay. So when those things are in the picture,
Yes.
as a parent,
You start adding that
Adding.
this child missed the following milestone. This child was behind. This child was behind. Those are must look out for parents with kids who may have specialized needs.
so could this speech go into your adulthood? Like Mike Tyson,
Yes,
have you seen how he speaks?
I've heard him
Yeah.
speak. He speaks with a list. I'm not sure. I haven't read of him being autistic, but he does speak with a list.
Okay.
Yeah.
So something like that
Yes.
could be a symptom as
Yes.
and stuttering.
Yes.
I remember stuttering we went into in the previous
In the first video.
in the first video.
Yes.
Okay. And then thank you for that, Coco. And then in terms of relating to the siblings, the inter-sibling relations, and then maybe also to the parents, what would you say we should look out for in those relations? Are they violent? Are they the most sweetest person? Is there anything you can tie to autism in terms of children's relations with the siblings and the parents? Are they stubborn? Are they workable,
A child who can advocate for himself or herself would come across as if they are stubborn because I don't want to eat this.
Uh-huh.
And if there's already,
I don't like this
I don't like this
because.
because. And other kids are already eating the food that the child is saying I can't eat. In autism, I pray that parents are mindful that children are different. And if I'm struggling with peas, with tennis, with eating, and others are not struggling with eating that, a child must be allowed because there's a study that autistic kids have an issue with the gastro, and it's a lifelong. All things that start in childhood are lifelong. There's no way where you can outgrow autism. I'm not grow it. It's not curable.
It's a
not
condition you
reversible.
live with.
It's a condition.
No disease you cure.
There's no cure for autism. Anyone who sells that autism is curable or reversible is not living with autism. They are not parenting a child with autism, and it's harmful. Very,
Say
very
things
harmful
like
that
that, yeah.
autism is reversible. Anyone who claims that they reverse a piece of autism, that person must not exist.
I just wanna spend, ring fence on this point you made there. The other kids will be okay with the food, but this one will not be. It's a mistake we make in South Africa largely. The whole model of having everyone in the classroom already is wrong. The Govela thing where you've got 15 trousers here and it's a one
Oh, I
That one size
did not
thing?
mention allergies as well.
allergies on the
Children,
symptoms.
yes, children with autism normally have eczema or food allergies.
Really?
So, a parent, if your child is already behind with coding, a speech problem, unable to sit properly, is not able to do the shoes properly, the buttoning, but like
The speed.
we speak through the things we are struggling with. Our
So look out
struggles,
for allergies
yeah,
from there.
our indicators, that becomes our struggles early on in our lives.
Okay.
Not
So,
a critical crisis.
no.
Continue.
I thank you for that. The point I was making with regards to parenting, we repeat it in schooling, we repeat it in tutoring as well. We repeat it everywhere. We treat people like they are the same, Like Ubungoma now, it's this big event, right, in our society. You find a Govela with 10 classes there. It treats them like one, and these people have got different gifts. This one is if I must use the European model, this one is a gynae, this one is an ENT, or this one is a. But they just shove the same thing down their throat.
Beware.
And I mean, you see how China starts a child this big now?
I love how China right now, the videos we see on TikTok,
Yeah.
how education has been. I don't know what's the right word when education starts early. It's no longer, you can't be designing it tertiary.
China.
They've broken it down to age appropriate. And that is how education should be.
And they start breaking the kids apart at a very early age.
Based on your strengths.
Yeah, and then you just leave that. fine.
Like you open up.
Yeah.
With autism, because we struggle with language, I truly believe that autists are failing the next generation of how do we use maths to educate? How do we break down everything into numbers? Because a number doesn't change. One will forever be a one, and a two will always be a two. How do we use numbers as a means of educating? And later in life, like in my case, I started reading extensively in my old age. I could not remember. I could
And
not.
I remember you said you stumbled onto your diagnosis in your 40s.
In my 40s.
Yeah.
So I started understanding reading very, very well late in my life. It explains my failures. So if as autists, we could literally sit and say, I could have done better and not have to repeat so many grades had things been taught in maths. And I would love to believe that it would benefit autistic kids greatly.
In closing that point, I just want to make a remark as well. And I mean, I know it's difficult in a house to try to cook 4 pots. We can't. We're just going to try to have all the children eat
But
from
if
this
I'm
thing.
struggling,
But let us pay attention to.
I'm struggling to choose.
Yeah.
Why would you make me choose? Like recently, I was eating rice, and it was hitting my gums. I was like,
Rice?
yes. My dad would have. I know. I think about my dad. He would have overboiled my rice so that it's like top up. So if I can't eat what everybody's eating and you force me, I'm not gonna eat.
And also, as a child, you start developing attitudes.
Yes. Not attitude is like
You rebel, or I don't know.
you start to advocate for yourself. I don't want to call autistic energies as rebellious. You start to advocate for yourself through saying.
But how many kids do come out and start advocating? Others maybe just die inside.
That's the hurt and the pain that I will always feel that a child born to parents who are not understanding that each child is different. They are truly struggling. It is not out of their choosing. They are struggling. It's a struggle that needs to be catered for. And I give thanks to my dad all the time that he was able to say, Go. My father used to fall sleeping. And I used to bring up. It'd be like one day,
Then he picked up.
it was like, Gogo, he used to call me Gogo. I was like 1 and 2 and 3, gave reasons. I think that opened up our relationship. That I could explain, we understood, like smells. The oil will smell like baba. I can't handle the smell of oil or the smell of egg. I could not handle the smells. And he was like, okay, this is not for you. You can eat this.
Okay. So as parents, the way to know that the way to. I know, it's hard to try single out a child in the bundle, but let's pay attention, right? It could make a world of difference. That's that little attention, a little bit extra mile for this particular child, because you've noticed that they are always falling behind, and it could make a world of difference. So Gogo, thank you for all the child talk. Now I want to venture into political arrangements.
Okay.
There's an argument out there that vaccines, when you're taking child in for measles, for polio, and all those vaccines, that they might have started this autism thing. What is your take on that argument? What would you say if we give you a mic on national TV? And we say,
I would ask, I'm one of 6. All my siblings took the same vaccines. I became the only one diagnosed with autism. In a class, all of us took the same vaccines. There could be one child with special needs. How are the vaccines affecting the other kids? So I want to hear a balanced argument that you are claiming that vaccines cause autism. However, in your case,
you did take them, but you don't have it.
So okay, how do they affect you? Because if I go into why neurotypicals are harmful to autistic people, we will continue discussing that. Your way of looking at life and my way of looking at life is different. I just need to know how did the vaccines affect neurotypicals? Because if they are poisonous, They must be poisonous to you as well.
To everybody.
To everybody. It can't be like a random sample. Like, it can never be like that. It's the same vaccine given to every single person.
Others are
Yes.
fine, others
I
are
know.
okay.
How does it happen?
So we
How
are
does it
born
take-
with it there.
It is proven that you are born with your ADHD, you are born with your autism. It is genetic. It's not caused by vaccines to me. I haven't read anyone supporting
When
that.
in your lineages, maternal, paternal, do you think you've picked up where you could have come from?
I would think my dad had sound sensitivity.
You spotted some
Yeah.
things, Kuba.
Yeah.
Oh,
My
okay.
dad. And we never got to speak about it because it passed away when I was young.
And now you were such a poor black man, we die with it.
Yes,
Yeah.
he had to make it. Yeah, he had to learn to find ways
You just live,
to
it doesn't
live with it.
exist.
Yeah.
Okay, so you're refuting the vaccine.
For me,
Okay,
I just need to know how did the same vaccines affect my siblings?
okay.
How did the same vaccines affect? We were 45 in a class. I'm one of the many that was failing. How come I'm one of 45? How come the other 44 were not affected? How did they
You're
choose?
making a compelling
How did they
argument.
choose me and not choose you?
Okay, thank you for that. Yes, you can weigh in on that argument of the vaccines and autism. Ugogo is throwing out the window effectively.
For me and other fellow artists because
Let's
I
go,
read.
let's go to the next one.
Yes.
In your reading, studies, public engagement and stuff, Ubungoma, the calling, Ubizo, Ubizo,
Yes.
and autism. Would you say, have you seen any relations, any correlations?
I recently came across videos
And
of
I'm not asking you because you have both. There's an argument out there.
there is a correlation. There's a gentleman called Arthur. I can't pronounce his last name. It's long. He articulated how autistic people are not integrating into this realm. And he goes on to say that we come from a different realm. There's a probability
Almost
of
like
that.
you don't come from where we come.
Yes. And he articulates so well that why we have sensory issues is because the integration is the problem. Our senses are not used to the sound, the
You
noise.
say you can't recognize, you can't pronounce his surname.
Yes. We put
So,
it
but you
down
can,
on our-
you can,
we
you
write
can
it
get the
down.
video for
Yes,
us.
yes.
So when the video goes up, will you be so kind to share this guy's
Yes.
thing?
He articulated it so well that it's the integration. The sun is too much for me. I get heat exhaustion in summer.
The sounds,
The sound,
the smells.
the texture, the touching. Oh, another thing I didn't mention. You know the label on the back?
On our clothing.
Yes.
Yeah.
That as well was a concern for me as a child.
What does it do?
It just annoys me.
It's
Like,
an annoyance.
yeah. So
Right.
if a child says, but this is annoying, kind of just each time you buy a child, take it out.
Omat Lazana, do you know?
I wear glasses.
But we can't say Omat Lazana.
What the glasses? Who are my glasses?
Who's one of the glasses is young age?
They have an eyesight issue.
It's not obvious.
No, autism is like there's layers that goes into making someone autistic. It's not one thing that I have a sight issue, I'm autistic. There must be a history of this child is not doing this, they were delayed with that, they are struggling with this. An observant parent, and a parent that could, it's easier if you struggle as a child yourself. So you become more aware and you start reading. And once you get your diagnosis, usually you really be like to say, but damn, that is why I was like this. That is why I was like that. I now understand why. Like you literally really live your life to say, I went through my life without any support.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For those that made it,
Yes.
tell a story.
They tell us that damn, I couldn't sit properly for the longest time of my life. I'm struggling with eating, chewing. I have a list of disorders. So if someone says autism is reversible, I just think, how could I reverse my speech problem? I get headaches. The sun affects me. How are you going to reverse all of those things?
Okay, so in closing of the point on the calling,
Okay, the calling.
we have seen linkages?
I would think there is a linkages. There's something called star seeds.
What's that?
They are different seeds.
Oh, star seed.
Yes.
What's stardust?
I have no idea what it is. I'm not on there as yet.
Okay.
But we're gonna post.
I've seen a person call the child stardust. I didn't know what they know.
They're different kids.
Okay. So the star seeds are the one with the code. The lives of
They
them.
say yes, the indigo kids.
Yeah. So there's lots of this.
There's a lot of research
labels.
that's out there, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. But there is a link of you are autistic and you have an assessment calling as well.
Okay, so on the calling part, yes, if you have noticed symptoms that we have shared today and you've come up with a few of them, so almost then start preparing that your child in a few years might say
Not
diabetes or something.
Not really. As a child, I needed a healer, a traditional healer
Oh,
to take care of me.
yes.
So I used to have migraines, I would get sick.
So you grew up under a
Under a
healer. Okay.
So I would love for parents to understand that when a child is sick, not all things must be Western or Western medication. Also all to understand that there will always be a healer that understands babies. And they would make sure that the child is growing well, under supervised and well taken care of.
If as parents, if you're able to, occasionally take the family out to a healer in Tembisa or Soweto or wherever part of the country you are. I know we live in the metros, but always find out if there's anything in the family. If some gogo upstream is asking for something, a child is gifted in the house, you gotta go. You gotta find out. And that was
You need to exhaust all the possibilities.
yes. You can't limit it.
Don't shut out the African
No, you
spirituality
can't. You can't.
area of
Not in
life.
2025.
Yeah.
That concludes my questioning, Gog, and I'm gonna give you the mic. Which is what we just discussed now. I get you in a lift
Yes.
with the Minister of Basic Education,
Yes.
right? What would you say to her in terms of prep for kids with autism? Is South Africa doing enough? Is our schools equipped enough? Is our basic education, does it do anything at all with regards to an autistic child? You've got the minister for the next 3 minutes.
You know, a while ago I volunteered at a school.
P.
At a school.
Okay?
It was a class of all special needs kids.
Okay?
The parents didn't know that
Ages? What
they were
age?
different ages. They
Okay.
were still in primary age.
Okay, primary level.
At that level. These kids, it was a Downs, non-verbal, and they were brilliant. They were brilliant.
Which I was down.
They were brilliant. There was this girl child she was goodwill. She could hear me. Her handwriting was spot on. She was muted. And I was like, damn, what a missed opportunity, because this child will never excel because they are not in a school that understands that being different is not being deformed
No.
or being retarded.
No.
You are different.
You're different.
And the earlier, I think, recently why I started my channel, I came across a grade 2. Grade 2 is what? Grade 4.
I don't know.
Grade 4. Grade 4, a teacher was saying, how do I help this child? The child understood that to write an essay, you must have the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Majority of us are visual learners. The child could not write, and was like, that could have been me. And the teacher does know that this child is dyslexic. The child understood that the structure, but I did not know how to write. So it hurts that today in African schools, class size is
Our
an
school,
issue.
government school.
Yeah, class is still an issue. And kids like me will fall behind. And by the time I'm in high school, I'm changing schools, I'm failing again, and I'm behind. And
I was
I have to go
asking
home.
you, in fact, to tell the minister what to do.
Smaller classes. Like if the parents partner with the school to say, my child is already behind with 1 and 2 and 3. If at preschool, at creche, teachers can start knowing that kids require the following assistance, you make it easier for the next level or the next grade. So smaller classes, teachers who understand the different ways of learning. I will also say that as autistic people, we are failing the national of because we are not saying this is how I could teach biology. Break down the head into hemispheres and teach it in maths. Everything has, neurotypicals can speak properly, they can write, you can't speak properly. If you say this is what, this is a brain, show me a picture, and you explain it to me in figures, I'll grasp and move on. How do we have smaller classes? Teachers who understand that every child learns differently, have specialized classes and all the
Would you be as bold as extreme and say we need schools that are just focused on these kids?
it will help, but at the same time it becomes integration. You can have a class within
A normal school. Yeah.
so that for sports,
They integrate.
they can
Yeah,
integrate.
okay. So
More
in the
classes.
now you're not satisfied at all.
At all. Like the
We
teachers,
haven't scratched this up.
the teachers that I spoke to, they were like, we are in a class of 45 kids. I don't have the capacity to give the child this amount of attention. I'm sorry, just that the class size is an issue.
So it will also help maybe with us as parents to start doing diagnosis at an earlier age.
Making a
Take a child to the psychiatrist when you start to notice something
yes.
and
A
say,
physio, my child is not able to sit properly. My child is struggling with left and right.
so what are medical practitioners that do with autism? Psychiatrists
Psychiatrist is the only doctor that can
diagnose
do a diagnosis. You need
or
a speech
physio and
therapy-
others.
You need a speech therapist, a physio, occupational therapy. You need a school where if already I'm struggling with the following things, I should be in that so that my precious are preparing me to be
Preparing.
integrated into a normal primary.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Bob. So it's that important to intervene early in life for the child. It multiplies the chances of a child
Succeeding.
in life. And we must let go of this we are black attitude as well. That they will survive.
You can't beat
You
a
can't.
child. You can't beat autism out of a child.
No, you
You
can't.
can't force a child to be a neurotypical.
You can't put them into that naughty corner thing.
Yes, you can't say you naughty
No.
because
Understand the child. Invest a bit of time in your child. Take that last few hundred rands and go to a psychiatrist. Ask the questions. I've noticed that my child's buttons are always mishapped. The shoes are bananas. Can you please probe? So I know. Already was standard 1, standard 2. That's grade 1, grade 3. Yes. You know, at least even if you don't have money to go to the special schools and stuff, but at least you already know that maybe my child's not going to go very far in this type of school. You are making applications. You are asking for help. Oprah Winfrey, they are here now offering people opportunities to do all of these things.
but I think
That golf, there's a golf guy, Nick Price or somebody. He's got a big autistic school also, I think.
no, but
Yeah.
hold on. I'm saying our government, we have a high rate of unemployed graduates. It's literally to recapacitate all these graduates who are keen on learning about the special needs.
You could use them.
You can retrain them and have small classes for them. The solutions are there. It's the willpower.
The willpower.
The
The
willpower.
willpower. Okay. Bakaichu, we have done our bit. Next time we come back to autism, it's gonna be maidenhood. Maybe you are on the streets, you are in high school, maybe you go into university. We'll be dealing with it at that level. We just felt it was very important to tackle the child because that's where you miss the bus. You miss the bus of the childhood. Yeah, a lot of damage is coming your way. But thank you for tuning in. The patronage, the engagements, and yeah, we look forward to more conversations. Stay always a go for more. We will see you on the next round.
Thanks.
Give thanks. Blessed. That was it.